So today's guest is a Fleetwood native and an Emmaus High School alum. She played her college field hockey at North Carolina, where she won 4 national championships and 5 ACC championships. She was the MVP of the 2021 ACC tournament and earned 2022 ACC Defensive Player of the Year. Named to the U.S. Women's National Team in 2022, she recorded her first cap against Germany. She was a part of the USA winning a silver medal at the 2023 Pan American Games and the 2024 FIH Olympic qualifier. Please welcome to the Players Corner, Meredith Sholder.
Thank you for having me.
Like I said, a little uncomfortable.
Totally okay.
Okay, so we're gonna start with the fan questions. So Mia, who plays for Center Court, asked, when did you start playing?
So I picked up a field hockey stick when I was 3 years old, actually. My mom played field hockey, my aunt played field hockey, and my older cousin played field hockey at the time. And so it kind of ran in my family. So when I was 3, they put a stick in my hand. And I remember I would go to my older cousin's field hockey games and just play on the sidelines. And then my mom started signing me up for clinics. And then in 2nd grade, when I was 7 years old, my mom officially signed me up for youth league. So that's when I officially started playing on a team, kind of.
A player asked, what was your college recruitment process like?
So I actually had a lot of help looking at colleges by my mom. My mom kind of got the ball rolling for me and said, you need to make a list of your 10 favorite ideal colleges that you would want to go to. And then we're going to start visiting them. And so I kind of just thought out oh, this place might be nice. This place might be cool. And so I made a list of 10 colleges, and then we started visiting, meeting with the coaches. Then I would kind of weed them out based on just either, if I didn't really like the environment, if something wouldn't fit into, my day-to-day life on that campus, depending on how I would mesh with the team, with the coaching staff. And then, I honestly ended up getting really lucky because I want to say it might have been my end of my freshman year or beginning of sophomore year, around that area. I actually was going to visit Duke because I had Duke on my list, and it was a long weekend. It was some holiday, so I didn't have school on Monday. And so my mom said, well, why don't we check out UNC too in the same weekend, since they're, right next door to each other. And I remember we got in contact with Grant Fulton at the time, and it was very last minute, but he was just incredible. And he, dropped everything he was doing. He took me on a campus tour in a golf cart, showed me all of the facilities. And I just absolutely fell in love with the campus. I met the girls and they were awesome. The whole coaching staff, the community, I got so excited, and it was just kind of one of those, I know I need to go here. This is it for me. This is the place. And so after that, I kept in contact with Karen Shelton. I went to her camps, and then, eventually she offered me a spot.
I feel like almost everyone we've talked to has always has had the aha moment that this is where I'm meant to be. And I think it's kind of funny because you always hear when you're looking at colleges, whether for sports or not, that it's you'll know when you know. And I think it's everyone I've talked, we've talked to is literally we knew when we stepped foot on the campus that that's where we were going. And I just think that that's kind of funny.
But you got to put yourself out there. You got to reach out to the coaches. You got to go there and say, I'm interested in this school. And I want to see if, it would be a good fit for me. Put yourself out there, and, you're going to find it.
So our next question comes from Colin, and I'm guessing that this is talking about international, not American, because he asked if you could play for any club, which would you play for? So I'm guessing that means internationally.
So if I were to go abroad, which am not really, some other girls on our team, they find that really exciting and they look to go abroad and, you know, train with a international club team for a couple months. I don't know if I could do that because I'm someone that kind of struggles being away from home and like being away from my normal routine for a long period of time. But if I were to go somewhere, a lot of the girls have been recently talking about how cool it would be to go to Holland, play for a Holland club team. I think it's called The Hague, like is where the location is in Holland. But yeah, I just think that would be a really cool opportunity because obviously that's where the best field hockey is. And that's where Amsterdam is, all the cool canals. I have a couple of friends from the Netherlands because we had a lot of foreigners on the UNC team from the Netherlands, and the food is bomb. So I would probably go there if I like had to choose, but my preference would be to stay in the States.
Maggie, a Michigan alum, asked if you didn't play for UNC, where would you have considered playing?
Ooh, that's a tough one because surprisingly, I looked at Princeton too. So, cause like I was debating on like, do I want to do Ivy? I really liked Princeton's campus. And so if I didn't go to UNC, maybe I would consider Princeton more. But it is one of those where I've really only looked at a couple of schools before I looked at UNC. Like I did make a list, but I only looked at a couple of schools. And like once I saw UNC, I was just, that was done. That was a done deal. So it's hard to say what other schools I could have potentially gone to. I also really liked Michigan's campus. So maybe either like Michigan or Princeton. But I can't be too sure. Like there was a top number two. Because once I decided on UNC, it was just like there was no other second thought.
We're going to get into the actual questions. We kind of like split them up into different sections. So this one's about kind of like your background and high school field hockey.
Okay.
So your mom played field hockey at Harvard, and as a kid, how much of an influence did your mom have like kind of on your playing style?
Oh my gosh. Well, my playing style, well, first of all, yeah. So my mom, she played field hockey at Harvard. She also did track at Harvard, so she was a dual athlete. And then just like growing up, she did the absolute most to expose me to field hockey and to expose me to sports. I guess she really wanted an athletic daughter. I don't know, but yeah, I played so many sports growing up, and she did everything she could to sign me up for camps, clinics, leagues. She drove me everywhere. When I started, so I did Lower Macungie Youth League in 2nd grade, and then I did Ole Valley Youth League in 3rd grade through 6th grade. And my mom was actually my head coach in youth league. And so she like ran the whole team. So it was just honestly amazing that I had her as my first coach. Basically, it allowed us to create this bond together. Obviously, she could be hard at me at times if I wasn't trying hard enough, or she wanted to push me, but she was also my biggest supporter. She was there for every single game. She, like I said, drove me everywhere. Always signing me up and just being there for me. So I think for my playing style wise, she definitely like created this competitive nature inside me, just to like be the best that I can be, because I was always on the go, whether it was field hockey, soccer, basketball, gymnastics. Like I wanted to be the best that I could be. I wanted to try and be the best. I wanted to win. Competitions were like my favorite thing growing up. And so I think that's something that, you know, runs in the family a little bit when it comes to me and my mom.
So when you first went to college, you were on the forward line, and then by the end of your college career, you transitioned to more of a defensive position. So what kind of like was the reasoning for the transition, and like how did that transition work for you?
Yeah. So when I was in high school, I played forward, and it was like a high forward position. And I don't know if I just played forward, because like I did end up getting like some scoring record in high school for my high school. But I don't know if it was just because I wasn't fit enough to play midfield. I don't know. But when when I went to college, like I didn't go to college super fit. Like that was a mistake on my part. And so I was in Karen Shelton's doghouse. And I played my freshman year, but then like sophomore year came around and I still wasn't necessarily fit. And so like I didn't play as much my sophomore year. But as a player, I've always been more of a distributor. And then I have to say, when I went to college, I did lose my confidence a little bit when it came to, you know, taking shots on goal. I felt like I would rather pass the ball and get the assist than, you know, take the shot. I don't know why. But just because I had great vision of the field and I was more of a passer and a distributor, they started sticking me at midfield.
Um, so you played your high school field hockey at Emmaus under Sue Butts-Staven, who is one of the winningest coaches in high school field hockey, where you also scored 217 goals and won 2 state championships. Fun fact, I think I actually saw you play in high school.
No way.
Yeah,
Do you know where? When?
Okay, so it was at Exeter High School.
Okay.
I think it gets Penn Manor.
I remember that game.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they stuck me. I remember that because it was a really close game, and
Mhm.
I usually play forward. But Sue, like after halfway, like after halftime or something, she put me in the backfield to try and like not let Ben Manor score. But yeah, I remember that game.
Yeah, and I also think I saw you play against Palmyra once too.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Palmyra is good too. Yeah, they
Yeah.
beat us in one of the state championships.
Yeah. So that was just a little fun fact that I was like,
Really cool.
so just like kind of like with all that, what was your experience like playing under her, and how did it mold you into the player that you are today?
Oh gosh, I have just like so many like thankful words like to say about Sue. Her and I had a really good relationship because like my mom was coached by her, my cousin was coached by her, my aunt was coached by her. So like she just was pretty close with my family. And so I really looked up to her and I respected her so much because of how successful she was. And even though I had a good relationship with her, it didn't negate the fact that she had expectations and she set a high standard for everyone. And she was tough on us. And, you know, she could be scary at times. But I think that that's the kind of coach you really need to prepare yourself for D1 field hockey, especially playing under Karen Shelton. I think their coaching styles are very similar. With, you know, yeah, the high expectations and like you need to be fully committed and try your best and yeah, don't be lazy, like kind of stuff like that. And if something's not good enough, she's not afraid to tell you it's not good enough. And so I just have so much respect for the woman, and she, you know, got me to where I am today. And she's a legend, you know? And so I'm just really happy that I got to be coached by her, and I've learned so much. I've learned, not only field hockey skills and like technical work on, you know, how to be a better player, but just like life skills in general, like time management and, you know, yeah, commitment and just prioritizing like the important things and so much more.
Okay, so we're gonna switch to questions about UNC. Okay, so UNC obviously is like such a legendary program. What's it like playing there what's it like when you're playing there and you know you're gonna become part of the legacy that is the UNC Field Hockey program?
Okay. It's definitely high expectations for sure. I went through a journey going to UNC and I might have mentioned this before, but when I first came into UNC, I kind of like lost my confidence a little bit because of the high expectations and the high standard. And you're going from a high school where like you're considered one of the best to a legacy school, University of National Champions, a great D1 field hockey school who everyone that came from their high school is considered one of the best. So it's very competitive. And Karen Shelton, she would recruit a bunch of people so that our bench was really deep. And so we had a lot of players to do like full field scrimmages at practice. And so if you weren't playing your best, then you would sit out, you would get benched, you would sub out. And so there was this always constant, like, you need to show up no matter what you're doing, you need to show up and you need to play your best. And so that kind of mentality like is something that I needed to really hone in on in those 4 years, because it became that much more competitive within your team. And then, yeah, as far as like the other stuff goes though, like it is really special though to be able to play with such amazing and talented players. And there was always like a target on UNC's back when I was in college. And yeah, all of my friends from other schools would, you know, hope that UNC would lose. And so there was that like target on our backs that we always felt like we needed to like defend something and like perform our best so that like you wouldn't kind of face that almost feeling of failure, because it meant that much more since you were trying to, you know, hold this standard up here. But I just think it's taught me so much to go to a school like that and have that journey of finding my confidence and, you know, finding my teammates and friendships with my teammates and, you know, just working your butt off every single day and getting 1% better every single day, because it's led me to where I am today.
So you talk about like when you first went to college, you kind of like lost your confidence a little bit. How were you able how were you able to get that back and kind of like, no, like this is what I have to do to like be successful here?
Yeah, so like I said, I came into college not in good shape. And you know, Karen kind of went easy on the freshmen coming in because it's like, okay, like I'll give them a free pass, like maybe they don't know any better. But sophomore year, like you better come in shape. And then sophomore year came around and I still didn't come in shape. And so I just remember I was terrified of her at this point, and she was just so mad at me, so disappointed in me. And I was in her doghouse. She made me like do chores or something, like I don't know. And I just wanted her to like, I hated disappointing her. Like it just was the worst feeling ever because I respected her so much. And like, I wanted to play. Like I knew I was better than that. And like, I knew I was a great player, but my fitness was holding me back. And so I think that's why I lost my confidence, is because like when you go from, you know, being a great player in high school to, you know, not being a starter your sophomore year of college, like you're going to lose your confidence naturally. And so I kind of took that as the pinpoint in my field hockey career where I like transitioned. I was like, okay, I'm going to get really fit. So the summer before my junior year, I worked out so much trying to get into shape. I was like, I'm going to pass this run test during preseason for the first time. And then that fall of my junior year, I passed the run test. And then we had our first practice afterwards. And then I broke my foot.
Oh,
And it was my 5th metatarsal in my foot. And so it ended up putting me out the whole season. And so I medically redshirted my junior year. But with the resources that we have at UNC, that's another thing. Like I appreciate the trainers and the rehab people so much. Scott Oliaro, last name, kind of butcher it a little bit sometimes, but he's the GOAT. Him and then James Askew, he was another one of our trainers. Like they did such an amazing job rehabbing my foot back and like getting me back in shape and, you know, not pushing it too hard because like I said, I just medically redshirted. So I had all the time in the world to rehab and make sure I was like back better than ever. And then my senior year, I came in and it was like, I was like the fittest I had ever been. And then that fall I started at like left mid or something. And then after my senior year, I had a 5th and a 6th year because of COVID. So then I transitioned to center mid and then I finished those 2 years as center mid. And yeah, it was just like, once I felt in shape and I was getting that, kind of reassurance from Karen then, like, because she did end up coming up to me afterwards and just like, you know, saying how proud she was of me for taking that message and taking that challenge and turning around and making the most of it and becoming a better person, a better player. And so, yeah, so in that sense, thank you, Karen Shelton.
Yeah, I think the life lesson here is for the players to do their summer packets.
Yes.
Because that first run test is going to kill you, no matter what.
Yes.
We're getting ready to hand out the summer workout packet for the high school team that I coach, and we're like, you should do this because know from experience,
Oh yeah,
it will
for
benefit
sure.
you.
Yeah,
And I'll play this clip of Meredith Sholder telling you should do your summer fitness packet.
I was talking to someone a little while ago and they were like, if you could change anything with your field hockey career, what would it be? Like, I was like, well, I wouldn't regret anything. Like, I'm pretty happy with where I am today, but if I could change one thing, I would come into college fit.
Yeah, that first run test is like absolute murder.
Yeah.
So you won quite a few ACC and NCAA championships at UNC. Is there one that stands out to be the most rewarding to you?
For NCAA, I don't even have to think about that. It's definitely the one at Karen Shelton Stadium against Michigan. That moment was just so surreal because, oh, I'm getting chills just thinking about it. Oh my gosh. Okay. First of all, at that point, it was like a crowd that we had never seen before. Like it filled up the entire stands, like overflowing into like the yard and like all around the stadium. Like there was just so many people and the sound of the stadium, like so surreal, and like everyone was just there to support us and cheer us on. And Michigan's a great team, so it was like really tough game and we went into overtime, and I felt I had a good game too. So like that was exciting. And then just when oh my gosh, when Erin scored the game winning goal, and like I was like I think I was the closest person to her. So like I just start sprinting to her. She jumps into my arms And there's like pictures of it on social media. And so I just like love being able to look back at that picture and knowing exactly how I felt in that moment, and just like the atmosphere and like the noise, and then like everyone joining us and dogpiling afterwards, and then people storming the field. It was just such like an amazing memory to share with so many people, and just like have that many people there for us. There have been other championships that have been really fun and memorable too, but I think just being able to be in Chapel Hill for that was really, really special, because then afterwards we just got to celebrate together, and it was just, yeah, I'm never gonna forget that night.
Yeah, Cassie said the same game. And like I think that like even looking back at like this past season's NCAA tournament in Karen Shelton Stadium, like the amount of people, just like the pure amount of like kind of hype around the event. And then you go back and look at the year before at UConn in the frozen field because it was way too cold, because like it's at Michigan this I think it's at Michigan this
It's gonna
fall.
be
Oh
yeah.
yeah, I heard Abby Tamer saying it was at Michigan.
Yeah, why are we putting it on fields that are gonna freeze?
I don't know, like, haven't we learned from UConn? I got frostbite.
Ugh.
What's it
No,
called?
thank you.
Literally all my friends went to that game. I wound up the D3 championship was at my brother's college, so I wound up going to D3 one. But all my friends were at that game and they were like, it was so cold. We were all shaking. The field was frozen. I don't get why we're not.
I
Yeah.
know. Yeah, it was hard. It was really hard.
I also just like don't necessarily think that they have the stadium capacity, but that's like whole other conversation. But I think that like there's just something about the atmosphere of you guys having it at UNC that makes it so much better than any other field. And I think it'd be really cool to see one at UNC Charlotte in the future. Although I feel like you guys don't have bleachers, which is weird.
No, we don't. And they have like a 5-year plan, I guess,
Okay.
like of what they eventually want the stadium to look like. But no, right now we don't have bleachers. But eventually we will. We will. We'll eventually have bleachers.
But yeah, I think that like if we could do it at UNCC, like where it's neutral, but like obviously Chapel Hill's not too far away from you guys over
Yeah.
there. Like I think that'd be a really cool environment to put it in. But I think it's just like it's really cool to have like a home NCAA championship because like the crowd is just like insane.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I like every time I keep talking about it, I just get goosebumps. It's just like such a cool thing to experience and to look back on.
And especially like tapping into that like Carolina like fan base. Like, you know, even if people like aren't coming there for field hockey, they're coming there to support Carolina. And I think that's like also really cool too.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Carolina, where everyone's just a sports fan. It doesn't matter what sport, but people love to go watch sports. So it's really cool to live in that community and, you know, be in that atmosphere and have people that support you like that.
When deciding to go back to a sixth year for UNC, what went into that decision?
I just, at that point, I loved my team so much, and I talked to a bunch of alumni, and I was like, should I take my 6th year? I have the opportunity to, like, this has never happened before to really anyone. Like COVID, what, you know, COVID, what, like we get an extra year if we want to. So it's kind of like new territory for me. And I was like, should I take my 6th year? And literally everyone I spoke to was like, if I could go back to college for one more year, I would. Like, you only do college once, and then you have so much time after to do whatever you want to do. So why not stay? If you love the team, if you love playing field hockey, why not? And so it was kind of like a no-brainer almost for me. When Karen Shelton, you know, brought up that option. And yeah, I just got so close with my teammates. And I loved being with them every single day. And when you're in college, it's just such a great balance of like, you know, you get a little bit of studies in, you get a little bit of field hockey in, and then you get a little bit of a social life in. And so I just really loved that lifestyle and that community, and just being able to, you know, be with those girls every single day who I still continue to call like my best friends.
Okay. So you participated in Beyond Our Game. I have that it was last year. I'm pretty sure me and Sumfest established that it was 2 years ago. I'm not really sure.
Oh, wait. Yes. Yes. I
Yeah.
think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, the thing that it's
Courtney Williamson?
yeah, that thing.
Okay, yes.
Um, can you kind of tell us a little bit more about like what that event was like?
Yeah. So she co-founded this organization, I think, with soccer player Brianna Pinto. But it's basically just to give people of, you know, of a diverse culture like more opportunity to be able to play field hockey, play soccer. Not everyone has, you know, that privilege to just like be able to have those opportunities and sign up for whatever. And so they wanted to do that and have a free clinic for everyone to just come and play and have fun and see if they like it. And it was such an amazing experience to be a part of. And I'm so happy that Courtney asked me to, you know, help coach and be there for that day, because, you know, I grew up with a lot of the opportunities provided to me. And it's really sad to kind of realize that not everyone has that privilege. And I really wish everyone could, because these young girls, they can be amazing athletes one day. And it's just, you know, something like that could hold them back. And so being able to have this organization and running that is just, you know, it's really special. And like, I'm just so proud of Courtney Williamson, especially because she's my friend and I love her for organizing that.
You also participated in the Lehigh Valley Impact Athlete Clinic. What is your favorite part of participating in events like these?
So this event specifically, I jumped at the opportunity to be a part of just because of everything that I got out of my hometown. And all, like I said, all of the opportunities that I had that were available to me led me to the person and player I am today. And so it was kind of a way to give back to your community and help grow the game and provide this clinic, this free clinic for people to, you know, yeah, just get some practice in, get your hands on a field hockey stick and yeah, just like see if you like it, see if it's something that, because like some advice that I will always give kids is, if they're looking for advice, is just to get as involved as you can. Because I when I was young, I was constantly signing up for clinics and camps and leagues, and I was a very active person. I was always on the go. I loved playing sports, whatever it was. And so just being able to provide that for people, for young girls now, and kind of pave the way for the next generation, I think it's really important.
So this is a little bit, I just want to know this personally, but what do you do and where do you keep all of your rings from your championships?
It sounds so bad, but I'm pretty sure they're like stored in some box in my closet now. I need to find like a better, like maybe display for them, but it's hard because like I've lived in college for so long, and like I've moved to like 3 different places, and so I'm constantly just like boxing it up. Oh, I don't have space for that. Box it up, throw it in the closet. I'll figure out another place when I move into, you know, a better room kind of thing. So I've never really like visibly displayed my rings, like, oh, come into my room, here are my rings. No, they're like literally, they're in my closet somewhere.
A friend of mine is an old teammate of mine's from Australia, and one of her coaches had an Olympic medal, and she was like, yeah, my coach literally told us that she keeps her Olympic medals in a box under her bed.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I feel like an Olympic medal I would have displayed somewhere, but I also kind of like,
Yeah, an Olympic medal, I would definitely display an Olympic medal. Like
yeah.
that's legit. And I've only worn one of the big, like the national championship big gaudy rings once when I was still in college. I think it was my 6th year spring. There was a donor lunch for the Rams Club for all of the donors. And Karen Shelton was like, "Ooh, they would like it if you wore that ring. Like they would like that." And so, yeah, I wore my ring and it got a lot of compliments, but that is the only time I've ever worn one of those rings.
Yeah, I feel like it'd be a little impractical to like drive with or do literally anything with those
Yeah.
rings.
The ones that the girls got this past year is huge. Have you seen it?
I've seen videos of
Yeah.
them.
Oh my gosh, I think it's even bigger than like I've ever had. I was like, that's big.
So this is like academic because apparently there, you know, you have to go to school for academics. Um, while at UNC, you volunteered in a burn unit at UNC Medical Center. What was that experience like? And do you kind of potentially want to still work in the medical field one day?
I wanted to volunteer because this was during my last year. And so I was taking very easy classes. I intentionally did that. And so I had a lot of time on my hands and I have aspirations to eventually go to PA school to be a physician's assistant. So I figured I'm just gonna, dip my toe in a little bit into the hospital scene and start maybe getting some like hands-on patient care if I can, like start volunteering, see if I can get any clinical hours for PA school. And so I signed up for this volunteer program and the coordinator of the program was talking to me and she was like, we have this option, we have this option. And none of them sound like, they just sounded kind of like boring, like a little bit. And then she was like, and then like there's the burn unit. And I was like, the burn unit. And she was like, yeah, like it's not for people with sensitive stomachs. Like it can be quite gruesome in there. And I was like, that sounds interesting. Okay, I want to do that. Because I just like I want to be able to like finish the day and be like something crazy happened or like something really interesting happened. And so that's what I decided on. And yeah, it was really an experience for sure. It was really sad at times because yeah, like you would lose patients because of like severe like burns and because it was the ICU. And but yeah, basically all I really did was stock carts. I would go to like different patient rooms and see if they needed anything. I would organize like their cabinets. I would just kind of follow the directions of all of the nurses. Like if they needed me to do anything for them, if they needed me to bring a patient something, I would just kind of, yeah, just be there for extra support. But it was honestly a really cool experience to be able to get a feel for the hospital scene. And I really liked it. But I would not, like, if in the future, if I had to choose a specialty, probably wouldn't do it. I'm more into like dermatology or like plastic. I mean, I guess plastics similar in a way, not skin grafts, plastics, but yeah, I'm more into like I've recently become more into like, yeah, like cosmetology stuff. So like I think dermatology is really cool. And then like, yeah, if you want, yeah. I was gonna say something. I was like, wait, PG.
Yeah. Probably should keep it a little PG. So
Yeah.
During your time at North Carolina, you played with a lot of girls who came from the WC Eagles Club, and former WC Eagles teammates. What do you think this says about the program, and did it help make the transition to college field hockey easier in any way for you?
It's funny because we were just saying that UNC is a cult, and then that kind of explains it. Like literally so many people from WC go to UNC. But yeah, so I knew so many people already going into college. So it was a really nice transition because it matters a lot how close you are with your teammates, because then that chemistry off the field transitions to chemistry on the field. And I think that's why we were such a great passing team. Like, you already go in your freshman year, you already know the girls really well, you feel really comfortable with them, you're hanging out with them already, you're developing like a really sick bond. And then, yeah, that directly translates to on the field, and like that connection that you have with them is something that's really important when you're trying to work together to score and to win. And so I think it definitely helped a lot, because yeah, I'm trying to think, there's a lot of girls that, like, I feel like I knew almost everyone when I went to UNC in some capacity.
It's a bit of a pipeline from WC
Yeah.
to UNC to the national team.
Yeah. And like, maybe not necessarily WC, like there were a lot of girls from WC, but I think just the like Pennsylvania hotspot in general, there's just so many girls from Pennsylvania on the team. Yeah.
There's just PA has a chokehold. New Jersey's getting there.
Yeah.
And then there's everywhere else.
Yeah. And then there's Netherlands and and then there's the special like hometowners from Cary, like Katie Dixon and Dorrit Eisenbeis. Like, there's just, yeah, so there's a little mix.
A little bit. Maybe you'll get like one or two. I'm trying to think. I don't know if you guys had anyone from Texas. I know Virginia does.
So we have, there's Hope Haynes is there now, I think.
Okay.
I think she's from Texas.
So now we're gonna move on to USA Field Hockey. So this one's kind of about UNC. But in 2022, UNC scrimmaged the national team, and after that was when you got your call to join the training squad. What was kind of your thoughts at that time surrounding playing for the national team?
Okay, so backtracking a little bit, when I was in high school, I played on the U17 and U18 team for the junior national team, and I also did the USA indoor team when I was growing up. But when I got to college, I stopped doing it. I honestly always hated it. I didn't really like the culture then. I felt like it never felt like a team. Like, I cherish like the whole team aspect so much, and like sharing that like bond with my teammates and getting really close with them. But like, whenever I would go to the USA things in high school, I always felt so isolated, and like everyone was just trying to like showcase their skills and make a team and then like get selected, and it just didn't feel it didn't feel real to me, genuine. And so I stopped doing it in college, and I didn't have like a great opinion about the USA team at the time, because I just didn't have a great experience in high school. And then after I came back from my injury and like I worked myself up to get into really good shape, Karen wanted me to do high performance, and she was like, I think like you can really make the team. And so I think it was before that year that we scrimmaged the national team, I did high performance, and they put me on it was the year that like, I know like Peyton Worth made it, Cassie Sumfest made it, Aaron made it, Matt, I forget who else, but they put me on the developmental team, and I was like, I don't want to do the developmental team. Like, respectfully, but like, I just don't want to do the developmental team. And so I kind of just like brushed it off. I was like, whatever, I'm not doing it. And then that fall we scrimmaged the national team, and Drake pulled me aside afterwards, and he said, yeah, he was really impressed with how I played, and that he's been watching me throughout the season, and that he's been impressed, and that they would be very interested in me eventually looking to play for the national team after my college career was over. And I told him that was during my 5th year. I told him that I had decided to take my 6th year and I wanted to finish out my college career before joining the national team, just because I just wanted to, it was my last year. I wanted to be in college, focus on one thing at a time, and just make the last year kind of worth it. You know what I mean? And he was like, no worries. And then spring came around, and that was when Junior Pan Am's, or it was like Junior Pan Am Cup or something in the spring was happening, where a bunch of girls for that age group were going to do that. And so they didn't have enough girls to go on tour for the national team. And this was to, I think, Europe at the time. I think it was in like March. And so Drakey had emailed me and like asked me to come to this tour with them. So like I got called up in the spring. And then that was my first cap against Germany, like you had previously said in the introduction. And I realized, like, when he called me up, when he asked me to do it, I talked to my mom about it, and I was like, okay, so like he sent me this, I don't know what to do, because like I think it's a really cool opportunity, but I just have such like a bad experience from USA. Like I was really conflicted at the time. And my mom was like, just try it and see, like, you never know, like it could be different. That was years ago. That was the junior team. Like you have no idea what it'll be like you can't make that assumption. And so I was like, okay, you're right. Like, I'll just give it a chance. And so I went on tour, and I loved the team. I loved the girls. I loved like the culture and like how it felt like an actual team. And I liked the scheduling too. That's another thing I did not like about the junior teams, is whenever you would go on a tour or training, you would have like 3 sessions a day. And it was just like so draining. And I wasn't about it. Whereas for the national team, they kind of like had more of a balance. They respected your time a little bit more. If you had work to do, they would make sure that you had time to do it on top of field hockey. And I just the girls were so welcoming to me, and I was obviously really nervous coming into that kind of high performance environment, but they were just very supportive and reassuring. And so after that tour, I just had such a great experience. He had asked me to go to Argentina with them afterwards, and I said, yes, of course, I would love to go to Argentina with you guys. And then it kind of just kept going from there. And then I did high performance that summer, and I made the team. And so after my 6th year, I moved out to Charlotte, and I started playing for the national team officially.
I know you talked about the USA like junior teams or whatever, but did you do like USA, like it was futures at the time? Did you ever do that?
Yeah, I did futures.
I did that for 1 year. I hated that.
Yeah, I just never, I always felt forced to go.
I would like cry before every time I would have to go.
Yeah, and I would
I
get
was like,
so
I don't want to go
nervous
see
then
them.
too. I would get so, and I always played worse. Like that was just like maybe a confidence thing or a mentality thing, but like I loved how I played with my like actual team in high school and my club team and stuff, and like we worked so well together. But then I would go to USA and I would be like scared to touch the ball.
Yeah, I just remember going to this like it was like futures, and then there was this tournament at the Nook, and I was just like, oh my God, I hate this.
Yeah, it was scary. I hated going too.
Okay, so in college you were number 2, and now you wear number 36. Did you choose your number, or was that assigned to you?
It was just randomly assigned at the end of the list. I'm literally like the last number, but they are switching me to 2 eventually. Because Lauren Moyer retired and she was number 2. And so Krista Page, our team manager, she said that when we do get new uniforms eventually, she would put me number 2. When we got our Pan Am uniforms, because we have to get different uniforms for Pan Ams because it can't have any sponsors on it, I was number 2 at Pan Ams. But for Pro League, since we never got new jerseys for Pro League, we wear the same jerseys that we always have with the Bank of America logo. I'm still 36 for Pro League. But like hypothetically, if I were to make the roster for the Olympics, we would get uniforms for the Olympics and I would be number 2 for the Olympics.
We've heard a rumor from people that it was not aired that you guys are getting new ones for the Olympics.
Yeah.
You can't have the stupid Bank of America.
Yeah, no Bank of America.
But we were talking about it last night. I was like, I don't think there's a number 2 on the roster. I work with Lauren. Lauren's probably gonna kill me that I didn't know she was number 2.
Yeah.
All right. Was there any moment during or after the qualifiers that it kind of clicked or sank in that you had actually qualified for the Olympics?
I think it was just, oh wow. It's like, I like kind of like, I remember when it actually happened and we were playing Japan and they had scored first and I was just like, literally like, my first instinct was to like, I wanted to cry, like, cause I like subbed out and like, I just wanted to cry. And then I was like, no, Meredith, no, like, this is not happening. Like, this is literally not happening. We did not work so hard for us to just lose right now. I was like, we are fully capable of winning this game. And like, I'm just not allowing that to happen. Like, I need to switch my mentality. I need to pray. I need to manifest. I need to do everything possible that we win this freaking game. Like, and like speak it into existence. So I was literally like, I was like sitting on the sidelines in my head, like, we're gonna win, like over and over and over again. And then like we get a corner, and I'm like, we're just gonna score. And then we scored, and I was like, oh my God, it was crazy. And like we were just like getting so riled up on the sidelines, so excited. And then we scored again, and I was like, I knew it, we have this, we got this. And then we were just like lock in, and it's just like that moment that we had that we were like sharing together of like all being on the same page, and we were like, we got this, guys, we got this. And just like being there for one another and supporting each other and like having confidence in ourselves and kind of backing ourselves up with all of the preparation that we put into that moment. Like for the past 2 years, we've just been training so hard, and we have committed so much of our time to being where we were in that moment that like we just were not coming out in a loss at that point. We were like, we need to qualify. This is not happening. And so when that buzzer sounded, and wait, hold on, backtrack. Was it Japan or was it New Zealand?
It was Japan.
Okay, just making sure. Okay. See, like so much happened that tour that like I kind of like,
you know, after 50 days in India.
Yeah, you were there a long time.
Yeah, I was there a long time. So like I forget a lot of stuff that happened there because my mind's just like block it out. But yeah, that moment happened, and like I immediately like sprinted to like the nearest group of girls that I could find on my team, and we're just all sobbing together, like literally bawling our eyes out. Like it was just so surreal and like crazy that like I was bawling my eyes out. Like I was like, holy moly, like I'm going to the Olympics. So it kind of like hit me in that moment. And then just like with all of the love and support that I was receiving afterwards, like I felt like, oh my gosh, I felt like the entire United States of America was like on our side. Like I was like, oh my gosh, we did it. Like this is crazy. And like just like, yeah, like all of the messages, the phone calls, and like congratulating me, and like the whole team. And it was like, that was when it like really hit me, like that night. And then, you know, the next day, God, get back to work. We had to play Germany the next day, and then we had Pro League. And so it was kind of like hard to have that like set in and like kind of celebrate that victory because we had other things to do. But then after I went home from India and visited friends and family, and they were, you know, bringing it up and congratulating me, and then it kind of hit me again, and I was like, wow, like, yeah, you're right, like we qualified for the Olympics. That's really cool.
So who was the first person you called? Well, after you took all the photos, who was the first person you called when you qualified?
My mom. Yeah, my mom was the first person I spoke to.
Yeah.
Just because, I mean, she's just like my biggest supporter, and like her and I just have such a great relationship now. And she's like my best friend, and so I just love getting I love getting reassurance from her, and like hearing her, you know, hearing her being proud of me is something I really appreciate and love and cherish. And so yeah, she was the first person I called.
I think every single answer has been parents.
Yeah.
It's either parents or I didn't have data.
Yeah. I shouldn't have had data, but I did. Sorry, Mom. Your bill was higher that month.
It's fine.
I mean, we were in India, so that was my excuse.
Okay, so you're on the taller end of this team. We have a pretty short national team. Do you think your height gives you any advantage on playing defense with this team?
Yes. So I'm 5'9". So yeah, on the taller side. And yeah, my teammates have definitely said multiple times that they're like, oh, I always forget how long your reach is. Or like when I'm going, like we'll do speed and agility in practice. And sometimes we would do this drill where we would just have to accelerate and sprint as hard as we can, and our trainers would like throw a ball forward and we would race against someone, and it was the first person to get to the ball. And it's so funny, like imagine like me and Ashley Sessa going against each other, and obviously like I have longer limbs than her, so, and I have a longer stick than her, so I'm able to have a little bit of an advantage when I go against her. And she's like, oh, it's no fair, you're just so much taller than me, you have a longer reach.
What has been one of your favorite off-field activities that the team has done together?
Ooh, off-field activities. Well, the first thing that comes to my mind would be soccer circle. I don't always participate, but I seriously think that when I do, I end up playing better. Kind of weird, but it's just like so fun to, like, I just love games so much. Like I just love to, and I used to play soccer, so I'm like, oh, I can showcase my soccer skills. Like people are saying I'm good. Okay. But yeah, it's just fun to like kick the ball around. And also sometimes during warm up we play a game called speedball, and that game is really fun. And it's like kind of like handball, I guess, where we use the field hockey cages, but we like shorten the field, and then we use a soccer ball, and you get into two teams, and you can like take 3 steps, and then you have to throw it, and obviously you have to try and score, but you can also punt the ball. But I love that game. I go hard in that game. I like
We would have when we would warm up for middle school field hockey, we would have them do that. Like, okay, instead of doing a warm-up drill, you're gonna play this instead.
yeah. And then outside of like actual like all games or whatever, all like activity, I am an avid coffee drinker. So like I love a little like, let's walk to a coffee shop, let's go to a coffee shop, have a coffee, like catch up. Like I just love doing that stuff. So
Thank you. So looking forward, is there anything you are looking to improve upon during this Pro League series?
improve upon, I want to keep developing my confidence and kind of desensitize myself around our attacking circle. I feel like I am confident like in the pocket of the field when we're doing like our build up or our outlet. And then as soon as we get to like our attacking 25, I get like really frantic and stressed out. So that's something that I'm looking to get better at. And then something that we've been really focusing on in training the past couple of weeks, they're called accelerators. And basically there's like 5 different accelerators that you can do to accelerate the play. And when you have multiple accelerators in one buildup, you're more likely to get like a goal or an outcome. And that could be like a line over line pass, an overlap, a 1-on-1, a 2-on-1, and a give and go. So those are the 5 accelerators. And then these past couple weeks specifically, we've been working on give and goes. And Argentina, the Netherlands, they're like teams like that. They're so good at that post scan where they like give it and they go and they get it back. And they're just so good at like passing it forward and getting forward. And I feel like we lack that. And like, especially me, like I'll pass the ball and like, I just don't really like think about that post scan, like, okay, what do I do now? And so that's something that I've been trying to improve lately is like passing, getting ahead, being an option for another pass forward, to try and create a little bit more attack and support on the ball.
So do you have any like post-Olympic plans, whether it be a really cool vacation or like career related?
My mom, okay. My family's really big Disney family. Like ever since I was 2 years old, my family would go to Disney like every other year. We just were huge into Disney World. And so after the Olympics, my mom scheduled like a little vacation for a girl. It's like a girls trip. Sorry, Dad. But my mom and my sister and me are gonna go to Disney. And the thing is we've never been in that time period. We go all the time, but we've
The
never.
Halloween party is the best.
Yes, and I'm so excited because the Halloween party, I've never been to it during Halloween. So
Yeah. If my brother's listening to this, you did not hear this, but like I'm planning to go to Disney right after the Olympics too, like for a vacation before preseason starts. And we're literally like we're still trying to figure out all the details, but like I went to the Halloween party in 2018. We went last year for Christmas. My mom's also a very big Disney person. And the Halloween parade and the fireworks, best on property. Like
oh
those
my
are my
God, I'm
absolute
so
favorites.
excited.
I literally like what's it called? I literally found my Halloween ears yesterday while I was cleaning, and I like sent a picture to my mom and like we need to go to the Halloween party. Like we're going to Disney.
Oh, I love that for you. I'm so happy that like we can relate.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I I just want to be in Disney at all
I
times.
know, because I've gone for Christmas. I've gone in the spring, like May. I've gone in the summer. Never been in the fall because I've always had field hockey.
Yeah,
So
yeah. We went for my 13th or 14th birthday because I have a September birthday. So it absolutely sucks for like trips, especially my mom's a teacher as well. So like not only are we taking off of school, my mom's also taking off of work like the first month. But we had like a long weekend for I think a Jewish holiday my freshman year of high school, and my mom's like, I don't care, you're missing field hockey. We're going for your birthday.
oh, that's
Um,
awesome. So worth
like
it.
that was like the last time we went for Halloween, and like my mom's a teacher, so she's like, I can't take off for like your birthday. We like obviously like I work for a couple college teams. I can't go during actual season, so it's like doesn't work out. And my mom's like, August. There's like that 3 week period between the Olympics and the first game. That's when we're going.
Yeah, and they have the Tron coaster and the Guardians of the Galaxy ride now. So like I can't wait to try them out.
Guardians of the Galaxy, make sure you eat before it. Funny little side story. We traveled so we flew down at like 6 a.m. flight. And I went to the park by myself, and my mom's not a roller coaster person. So I was like, let me do this while my mom's not here. Um, I hadn't eaten like in literally 6 or 7 hours because it was like 8 p.m. at this point, and I don't think I'd eaten since 1. I literally got off the ride and fell over because it spins so much and you have to walk upstairs to get out of the ride. I literally fell over walking out of the ride because I was so like dizzy from not eating. So I would recommend eating before you do that ride.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
It was so funny. And then like I like FaceTimed my mom and I was like,
I love rides like
hey,
that though.
I'm like, hey mom. So I like kind of fell over. Like I'm fine, but like they're giving me like a soda and like popcorn to make sure that like I don't die on the way back to like the Skyliner.
See, that sounds like a great ride is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. The song choices are immaculate. Like it was just so much fun.
Oh, that's awesome.
All right. Do we want to do the rapid fire now?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So now we have the fun questions, even though all questions have been fun. So, so we ask all Pennsylvanians this question: Wawa or Sheets, and what is your order?
Wawa. And then you can't go wrong with meatball sub. Always get a meatball sub. And then I love their coffee. I love their coffee. So I usually get like coffee meatball sub. Maybe if I'm like feeling a little snacky, I'll get like some cheese curls.
Once again, thank you for saying sub and not hoagie.
Yes.
Oh yeah, I didn't even think about that because
No,
they have Hoagie Fest. But
yeah, but who was? I think it was like maybe Sessa or Sessa and her ice water. So it probably wasn't Sessa. It might have been Zimmer said like
yeah,
hoagie.
what was with her and ice water? No,
We don't know.
favorite thing from Wawa.
Like out of everything, that's
Out of
favorite.
everything you could get.
But yeah, someone said a hoagie, and I was like, it's not a hoagie, it's a sub. What are we talking about?
Well, because they do say Hoagie Fest. So
Yeah.
like sometimes I could say hoagie, but yeah, like
I
like
think it's a Philly thing, maybe. I know it's a South Jersey thing, but like, meh.
yeah. I feel like now I always say sub, especially because they don't have Wawa down south. I miss Wawa. I really do.
What's it called? One of these days I will go to Wawa and try an ice water and try to understand what she was
Yeah, what
talking
the-
about. But like, I don't think anyone understands what she's trying to say.
Yeah,
with
I
that.
kind of had questions when I listened to that. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. So, why did I just completely blank? Would you rather do strokes or shootouts?
Oh, probably stroke. Yeah, probably a stroke. Shootouts really scare me. Like I get really I get scared. I don't do them in international. I did them in college, and like I just remember when I would go up for a shootout, I would just like overthink everything. And I'm like, what if they know my shootout? What if I like, should I try something else? Should I do this? Should I do? And so I would just prefer to do a stroke, you know?
Yeah, I think the time of like the timing of shootouts like scares me the most because it was Kraus that said it, right, Jill, about the time.
Yeah, where she didn't hear the.
Like she didn't hear it
Yeah,
start.
that was insane.
And like that, I think
It
I would have
scares-
just like I fell down and cried. Like I
I'm
don't
probably like, I'm done.
Yeah.
I didn't like I'm sorry guys.
This is coming from someone that doesn't do either right now anymore. So, I mean, I guess I don't really have much of an opinion, but yeah, probably a stroke.
Yeah. We also asked Bing yesterday if she would ever be like the soccer goalkeeper that takes the penalties, and she was like, absolutely not.
That's funny. Can you imagine her and her goalie gear going up?
I don't even know how they would like hold like dribble the ball with the stick. Like I guess well, they're inside the circle, so I guess theoretically they could kick it. But it is the
Yeah, that's
attacking
true.
circle, so probably
Yeah.
not.
Imagine if that were allowed.
Oh my
That would be
gosh, that'd be
awesome.
insane.
I think that would be like the best shootout ever. That would be a way to
Even
get people to watch
Goalie
the
against
sport.
goalie.
That's what I was gonna say. You would definitely get people watching then.
They'd be like, what is this?
Do you have any current favorite songs?
I am currently obsessed with Benson Boone. His album, I believe it is that Fireworks and hold on. It is, I literally have it in right. Not that. Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, Benson Boone, his new album Fireworks and Rollerblades. I love the song Slow It Down. I love the song Beautiful Things, Cry, like literally like that entire album. Obsessed. So that's my like my new thing right now, my new artist.
Do you have any game day superstitions, or as the team has been clarifying, routines?
Yes. I have to do like a little stretch. Like I have to stretch before the game, and then okay, hold on. Let me like really like put myself into a game day, because I haven't had a game since like India. That's crazy. That's been oh wait, no, yeah, okay. So yeah, I would wake up and then let's say we had like a game at 1 and then we had a pregame meal. So I usually like try and eat the same thing for my pregame meal, because like I'm superstitious, because like you're putting that stuff into your body, like that's gonna affect how you perform. And so like I always like to eat eggs, oatmeal, and then you can't go wrong with a pancake or two. And then a banana is important. And then I really like to get hype in my room with like whoever my roommate is, even if I'm alone. Like I like to listen to Big Booty Mix. the mashups on like Spotify or something. I love listening to those on game days, because they just get me really hyped up. And yeah, I'll take myself through like a little stretch session, feel good and loose, and then I have to drink my electrolytes. Sometimes I have pre-workout, although I'm in the middle of trying to find another one because I didn't like the last one I had. And then we get to the field. I do a little bit of it like an activation, and then yeah, you just kind of like go to the field, and then play soccer circle is a big thing, because you're kind of like getting your engagement in, like your hand-eye coordination activated, and you're getting into like the focus of it without really like without really working hard or anything. Like it's just kind of fun and enjoyable thing to like kind of get you into like what you're about to do. And so that's kind of my routine every day, every game day.
Thank you for the explanation of soccer circle, because everyone always mentions it casually. And then like I know I've seen the videos of it. I kind of know why you guys do it, but like thank you for an actual explanation.
Yeah. Everyone loves it. Like there's a couple girls that it's it's not their thing, and that's totally okay, but yeah, it's really fun to just like laugh with everyone. And when we get a really good score, we're like, yeah, let's go.
Who is your favorite teammate to room with?
I'm gonna have to say Cassie, just because she's my girl. She's my best friend. And I lived with her for 5 years in college. And so she's just like the closest person that I'm with, that I like am with on the team. So whenever we've roomed together once, maybe twice, I don't know, but like whenever I do room with her, I just get so excited, because like we know what we're like with each other. I know her like routine, she knows my routine. So we just like work really well together in like a living space.
Cassie said you yesterday, so
Let's go.
I'm waiting for the day that someone says
Each other.
someone says someone and then they like don't say them back, and it's like starts a little beef, like
Oh my God, you're gonna start beef. I can totally see that. If I didn't say Cassie, I feel like she'd be like, you didn't say me.
well, what's it called? I cannot say her name for the life of me. San.
Oh, Sana.
Okay. I feel like everyone says it slightly differently, and it kind of confuses me. So Sana had asked a question to Amanda about like, oh, who would you let sleep in your bed other than Alec, as like the fan question. And then like when we asked her who's your favorite roommate, she's like, I feel like I have to say her. I'm like, or she's gonna get upset.
Yeah, that's tough when like you're kind of like in between two people. It's like, who do I pick? I mean, I guess you could pick both, but
I mean, you also could just say like, we're just cut the question.
yeah.
But yeah, I think I don't know, I just kind of think that one's funny.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely Cassie. Love her.
And then our last question of the day is, given that, okay, Olympic rosters have not been named yet for 90% of the teams. So like just given assumptions on Olympic rosters, is there someone who from another team, whether it be American team or an international team, that you want to meet in the Olympic Village?
Simone Biles. I want to meet her. I was literally looking this up and I was like, oh my God, it would be so cool to meet Simone Biles, Steph Curry, LeBron James. I heard they're going to be there. So cool. I would fangirl so hard if I saw any of them in the village. So that's really exciting.
We're adding you to the list of requests for a picture of Sessa next to a very tall basketball player.
Yes.
Okay.
We keep asking everyone. That's what we want. Like, I don't care anything else. I just want a picture of Sessa next to a very tall basketball player.
Yes.
I think it would be funny.
We will find the tallest basketball player there and ask to take a picture. That would be hilarious.
I think her mom would also appreciate it. Like, I feel like her mom would like absolutely eat that up.
Yeah. Oh my, there's a picture of me and Sessa sitting next to each other when we were at Pan Am Games, and the way that she looked next to me sitting on the bench, love you, Sessa. She looked like a little elf. Like, I wish I could take this picture, but like, she's so adorable. So yes, imagine her next to like a humongous basketball player.
Yeah, like we don't have a tall team to begin with. Like we were saying that, like we hope you guys are not behind the basketball team for opening ceremonies, or we're not going to see any of you guys.
Yeah,
like,
I didn't even think about that.
We have a pretty short team to begin with. Hopefully you guys are next to the gymnasts because they tend to be short as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just think it's really funny because like there's gonna be some massive height differences there. I think I've seen a picture of Simone Biles next to like Shaquille O'Neal, and that height difference is like
that's funny.
Yeah, because what Simone's like 4.
I think she's like 4'9" maybe.
Yeah.
Like, she's
oh my
really
gosh.
short.
Oh, I think it'd be so cool to meet her.
Yeah, I mean, I can't imagine she doesn't make it. But
yeah,
like,
well, because I recently listened to her podcast on Call Her Daddy, and she like on the podcast was talking about going to the Olympics. So, and then I looked online, and I'm pretty sure it said she was.
Yeah, I think they haven't technically done their qualifiers yet, but like she has the highest scores of any gymnast in the world. So I can't imagine her not making it unless there's an injury.
Yeah.
But,
or they're like, yeah, or worried for like her mental health or something. But I think she's better now.
Yeah,
I think so too.
I mean, I have questions about her husband and his inability.
Oh yeah,
his hatred of being called Simone's husband.
I know.
That's a compliment.
I had that judgment too, but she spoke really highly of him in her Call Her Daddy interview. So like maybe it was just people took it the wrong way, and
it could have been a joke.
It happens, you know.
All right, so that wraps up our interview with Meredith. Thank you so much, Meredith, for taking time to speak with us today.
Thank you so much for having me. I loved talking to you guys. I really appreciate what you're doing. And it was great meeting you.